Hello folks, I'm back again with an HO Scale locomotive from Atlas. Let's go over to the workbench and take a look. Alright, so what we're looking at on the bench today is this Atlas Masters Series HO Scale SD35. These models come in 8 different road names with various road numbers, both in the high hood and low hood variants. They're available in DC only for $169.95 and with ESU, DCC, and sound like this one for $279.95. When you open the box, you'll find that you need a screwdriver to take it off of the little platform that it rests in. These cases are kind of a pain because you need a screwdriver, but they're very good at protecting the model against any damage because they hold it in place and it's not surrounded by a bunch of foam. Also included is a warranty card, some DCC instructions, and then the owner's manual. There's also a parts bag with some spare parts, including the sunshades. And then on the back of your quick start guide, you have all the DCC functions as mapped from the factory. So as usual, I have scrutinized the paint with my magnifying visor on and found it to be pretty flawless. And something that's pretty cool here is the treatment around and on these grills. These are not, at least I don't think they're etched pieces, but they look like they are. All the grills on the side there. And something else that's really cool is all these little warnings that you see printed on the side of the locomotive. Those are all legible with magnification. Something else I've noticed on this model is there's a bunch of extra detail around the fuel tank, right, up in here. And also in the truck, there's a bunch of extra brake line detail and stuff like that. You'll also notice, if you take a look at it, that the handrails are very straight. And this is something that's been improved over the past few years. There have been times in the past when handrails on models like this were all crooked, and that doesn't seem to be the case very often anymore. And then something else I'm noticing is that the stairs behind the engineer's seat are see-through. So there's a lot of really nice detail noticeable straight out of the box. We're going to look at some more of this stuff close up as we go through the spotlight, but the initial impression is very positive with this model. Looking at the detail around the cab area, something that's pretty cool is they've included, and Atlas does this a lot, they've included little cab figures in there. So it's a full interior. You'll also notice that there are little holes drilled to make it easier to put the sunshades on. This is what it looks like with the sunshades installed. I had to use a number 68 drill bit to open up those holes a little bit in order for the pegs on the sunshade to fit into them. From this angle, you can also see that the windshield wipers separately applied, which looks very nice. And then all the little grabs up here on the nose are all separately applied as well. You'll also notice, looking at this view, that all the handrails are nicely done. The little highlighting of white on the step and on the rails is all in prototypically accurate places. The drop step is movable, so you can run this in the down or up position. The chain looks like a separately applied piece, but it is molded. The handrails are very nice and straight. All the stanchions stick straight up, so this is really very good. You can see down here that there is in fact an uncoupling lever, and all your hose detail is also there. And that's an Accumate knuckle coupler there. I wanted to show you the fireman side to point out the hose is here, the air hose. So every hose is there that you would need. And also, it's kind of hard to see, but if you look back in there, you can see there's a recessed part in the nose for the brake ratchet. Looks great. Pointing out a little more detail in the truck here, you can see all the brake line detail as well as a speed recorder. You can see that there's also a fireman or a conductor sitting in the seat there. Also, from this angle, you can see a lot of the detail under the sill along the fuel tank there. That's a little more detail than what I usually expect, and it looks great. The level of details on the back of the locomotive is pretty much the same as what you see in the front. You have all your hose detail there. You have your working drop step, molded chain that looks like a separate part, Accumate coupler. All the stuff is there. And also a bunch of separately applied grabs. Looks really nice. This is the last of the 3/4 views we'll look at before we look at the detail on the top. But I just wanted to point out the plated over number boards. Alright, so looking at the detail on the top in the fans, you'll notice that there's a lot of depth going on here, and it looks like those are separately added fan grills, which they are. And the detail in the dynamic brake area also is excellent. These grills and fans look like aftermarket parts. Very well done. And finally, looking at the roof detail around the cab, you can see that the bell and horn also are separately applied pieces. And something else that may not be as easily recognizable is that these little lift rings appear to be all separately applied. So there's a lot more separately applied detail than first meets the eye when you look at this model. You know, I always say that my favorite part of the product spotlights is running the model. So let's give this thing a spin and see how it sounds and how it operates. This model has a 5-pole skewed armature motor with dual flywheels, so it works really well at low speeds. And I've also run it without the sound on. It's very quiet. This is a great runner. Okay, so the headlights are directional and operate with F0. And you can see the number boards come on with the headlight. Looks pretty good. And then, just for fun, here's the rear headlight. They're LEDs, and they look pretty bright. One other thing that the manual mentions, that I forgot to mention earlier, is that the DC version of this locomotive comes with an 8-pin DCC plug, so that if you want to add your own decoder, it's as easy as just plug and play. So as you can see, this is a very solid release from Atlas. I'm excited about it because I have a bunch of other SP stuff that I've acquired over the past year or two, and this will look really nice running with the other locomotives. So I just have to get them speed matched and get them down to the SBHRS. Should be fun. I'm really looking forward to that. Something that really stood out to me in this model were the fans. The regular exhaust fans and also the dynamic brake fans. They looked especially good. And I don't remember the last time I saw an HO scale model with fans that good straight from the factory. So, good job, Atlas. Looking forward to more. I'll see you next time.